Welcome everyone. This is another episode of Venture Voices. My name is Anoesjka Imambaks and I'm the Executive Director of Venture Cafe Rotterdam. Today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Fezila William and she is the first Dutch female artist connecting physical art into NFT. Welcome, Fezila.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm very excited to have a talk with you because I read a story about how you are indeed what I said in the intro, an artist, and you're the first Dutch female artist bringing your physical art into the world of NFT,
Yes.
the non-fungible tokens. So today we're very excited to listen to your story. Maybe you could start with just telling us something shortly about who you are and how did you become an artist?
Well, to be honest, those are two questions, and one of them is that, I'm Fezila William. I think there's a lot to say about me, and for a lot of people who know me from Instagram, because I've got I say like 100,000 follower base on Instagram, and they know me from there, but I think if I would describe myself, I would describe myself as a mother of two kids. Well, they're like 15 and 16 years old, but also a woman who loves art, makes art, and think life is like art. Because when I have a canvas, I never know. I start with an idea, but like any creative person, you start with a vision. You want to make something. You have a lot of ideas of how you're going to make it. And in the end, the result is 90% of the time, it's something totally different, or it looks different, but better than you have ever imagined. So that is what I do. I imagine things, I visualize them, and then I make something totally different to be completely satisfied with the end results. And I think life is pretty much like that. That's also how my life is in real time. So what was the next question?
I'm just listening to your story.
Yeah.
So how did you, I know you're very famous because of your lips. You have beautiful lips, and then you create lips.
Thank you.
And
yes.
very fancy lips, because I saw in my research lips with gold, with crushed diamonds and
rubies.
Indeed. So can you tell us something about that?
Yes. I think that's also a little bit part of how I became an artist. I don't think anyone can become an artist. I think art is something everyone has in them.
Is it like a born talent, do you think? Or?
Actually, I don't want to say... I think that people would not agree with me, because we see making art as a talent, but it's totally upon your own taste. So for you, it might be that what I make is totally awesome and I'm talented and it's wow, I wish I could do that. But if I will show you something from, I would say, Damien Hirst or some unknown artist who is also very big, but you don't like that form of art, or even like a Picasso, you would say that, okay, I know it's worth a lot, so I want a Picasso, but I don't like his style. But it's still art. So art is actually, it depends on you what you think art is, because a lot of big artists have a lot of fans, but they have a lot of haters also who don't like them art, or see it as something like, oh, it's too popular, it's too fancy, that's not art. People would say Rembrandt is art. The nowadays artists are not artists, because Rembrandt really could paint something like the Night Watch, but you are making lips, that's not art, for instance.
So now my next question would be, so do you have a favorite artist?
To be honest, no. And I think that's also my philosophy, that I like different things. It is not, if you would go to my closet and just take a look at my clothes, you would be maybe a little bit disoriented because my styles are so different. It depends on the mood, it depends on the day, it depends on the weather, it could depend on anything. And I think art is like that. Art is a mood. And for me, I would like something Picasso made, to come back to Picasso. But the next day I would be in the Rijksmuseum and think like, oh, wow, Rembrandt is great. He's like amazing. It depends on the mood. It depends on the flow. And it would be days that I would like something black and white. And it would be days that I would like something colorful. So that's the way I make my art also. And I think to be fan of one artist is great. But for me, it's I just pick what feels good to me. And it doesn't matter who the artist is, even if it's a popular one or it's unknown. It doesn't matter to me. So I don't really have one favorite. Cannot choose.
But I think, well, you're mentioning your Instagram. You have a huge, a network, a lot of followers. So you're an influencer. So you're it's a popular word, but I think
a content creator. Yes.
Yeah. So how did you become so famous? Like, how do you create? You create content.
Yes.
You have a huge, network, a lot of followers. I know a lot of people who are trying.
Yes.
But how do you do that?
I think when you're with the first league of anything, it can happen. And when everyone is already on the train and then you try to stand out, it's difficult. So I think for me, it was that I was also into makeup and I knew a lot of people. So my network was already quite large and a lot of people were moving from, you had that period of time when people were moving from Hives to Facebook. And then you had a time that people were moving from Facebook to Instagram.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had a lot of people following me on Facebook. So they went along to Instagram. But Instagram was not that huge at that moment. It was still very open. The rules were different. And I still think I was late, but still on time to get the last part of Instagram opening up to people and allowing them to grow. Because, to be honest, the algorithm and the change of Instagram is not allowing people to grow anymore. Like, people like the big accounts. Either you should be like a Beyoncé or Rihanna, who in real life are already very, very famous. Those people just grow, overnight. Look at Angelina Jolie. She never had Instagram, and she went on Instagram. She announced it, and boom, she had a lot of following. So that's a different part. Then you have the part of the so-called influencers or the content creators. In the beginning, it was like a Wild West. Anyone could grow, because people didn't have very much knowledge, and people would be very generous in liking and following other people. So you have a few big influencers like Najine Mirsali, and there's also another Najine, I think. But those people, I watched them grow, and what they were doing in the beginning, and also on Anoesjka, is like follow, unfollow. That was a really very, big thing. They would follow, just days, they would just follow everyone. And then people would see a pretty picture, and they would follow back. And then on the end of the day or the week, they would unfollow all those people again. And people would just stick, because the normal, regular people who are not really building a business there would not look at who are they following. They would forget and just do their thing and put their picture in it and whatever. So at a certain point, Instagram just stopped that. People could not do that. You would get blocked or even removed from Instagram if you would do it again. So those were the rulings. So slowly the rules would appear, like us from next week, blah, blah, blah. You cannot do that. You cannot like 100 pictures. You will be blocked. So
I can even remember that people were like paying or like buying followers.
Yes, you could buy fake followers, but also that Instagram would notice at a certain point and would remove your account. So I think what I did is just followed those rules in the beginning, but it's really hard now. Like since I think 3 years, Facebook or Meta has taken over Instagram, and they said nothing will change, and everything changed. Because what happened is that what I explained to other people also who asked me, I want to grow, and how can I grow? I said, just do your thing, just go for the real people. Don't think about grow. Even if you have 300 loyal followers, it's better to have like 100,000 who don't like you, because people are very holding back a little. They give you a like, but they will not follow you that easily. It's like you can ask anyone. They will like, and even if they like, they will still hesitate, like, shall I click this button?
Yeah, because I see a lot of views sometimes, but not likes.
Yes.
So there's also a gap between viewing and liking.
A very huge gap. And that is because people are like, okay, you don't like me, I will not like you back. So it's also like, you like me and I like you. It's more like that. Or when they think it's really very a nice picture, or I cannot go around this, it's really very beautiful, then they will like it, of course. And then you'll have a huge group who just follow me just because they like the pretty picture.
Yeah. And of course, I think also people like to follow your journey as an artist, because I can remember I do follow you, and I often I really like your content. It's very creative. It's also always about interior design or art, or it's
everything
colorful.
that keeps me busy, because in the beginning they would say like, you have to pick one niche. You only have to pick one niche because people will get confused and everything. So in the beginning I was trying to do that, but after a while I thought that this is not me, because I have so many other things I like. And if other people don't like it and they're getting confused, probably I'm not the one they should follow.
Yeah, and I think that the interesting part is that I'm following you as a entrepreneur, next to being an artist. As an entrepreneur, I'm really following your journey, as in you create content on Instagram, but you also, back to the lips, you're creating high-end art. Your art is being displayed or being bought by the rich and famous.
Yes.
But can you tell us something about that? Like, how did that happen?
Overnight. Nice. I think of course it was I believed in what I was making, because it had to do with a little bit of my past, of course. A lot of people ask me, are those your real lips? Because nowadays it's really into fashion, of course. Thanks to Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenners, who had no lips, and a lot of Afro-American women also said, okay, so now we're interesting because now you have them, now you can have them, so now we're beautiful too. So that's exactly what happened to me when I was a little girl. I used to get bullied for my lips, and it went to a certain point that even I think when I started with makeup, maybe I was like 15 years old, I would draw the lip line in my normal lining. To make them smaller. Yes. Or even when I would laugh like, the people cannot see this, but I would just, pinch my mouth like this. Just to, and it's crazy, it's ridiculous, but in my mind, it was the ugly part of me. And I think when I was around 18, then you would have people who were actually walking down the street to scout girls. nothing was online, of course. You didn't have internet. So at a certain point, I was walking with a friend, and I was at, I think I was at the academy, and then a guy, he came across, and he said, "Oh, do you want to be a model?" And I thought he was looking at my friend because she was really very pretty, and I said, "Yeah, you should do it." And then he said, "No, not her, you." And I was like, "Me? Yes. Oh my God, your lips are beautiful." And I was like, just laughing, because I could not accept that, after all those years of hearing that it was not beautiful, that it was actually beautiful. So when I started with the art, to come back to the art, I looked around to see what was already there, and there was a lot. And also, especially because of the internet, people, when someone invents something, makes something, it's like that. You can see it in Tokyo, you can see it in New York. It's everywhere. So I just went to different fairs and just to watch and to see what was happening and what people were creating. I didn't want to copy anyone. So at a certain point, I thought, okay, what can I make that isn't already there? What can I make? Because everything is already invented. It's already there. So there were two things. One was that I thought it should be something which is something of my own, that no one else could copy. And even if they copy, it's mine. It's unique. And then I came to the lips because it's unique. It's mine. And, we're stuck together for the rest of my life. So I thought, well, that is something I got bullied with, and people like it now. So I'm going to take that one. And also, there were no other artists in the world using like jams and pop artists, to be honest. Because like someone who makes sculptures in India is also an artist, of course. But like the modern art, pop artist, or in the States or in Europe, no one is using gems or diamonds or crushed diamonds for that matter. And so I thought, okay, so I'm starting. My art is not valuable yet. So what can I do to give people, the idea that they're buying something valuable without them knowing me, without me being Kylie Jenner or Kanye West or whoever. So because I didn't have a name. So I thought, well, maybe I should, jewelry doesn't have a artist. You buy jewelry because it's pretty and it's valuable. So that's when I came up with the jewelry on the wall to say that people could buy jewelry on the wall, which is actually art. You don't have to put it in a safe. Like a ring you will only wear once or twice when there's some special occasion. And this is like every day is a special occasion on your wall, because there it is, all the shiny, glittery, glamoury stuff on your painting. So that's how I combined it. And then I started with painting, and it went well. I got the opportunity from the 27 Hotel at the Dam in Amsterdam for the opening to do something nice for their lobby. And it's still there because they liked it and they said it suits the hotel. And actually that's when they said, well, this is high end. Someone has to label you. You cannot label yourself, It's like saying like, oh, I'm a classy, sophisticated, smart woman. You cannot. Well, that's my
say
belief.
That about yourself.
Yeah, you cannot say that about yourself. Yeah. Someone else has to say it. Yeah.
And it's a very, very beautiful hotel. It's like a 5-star boutique
even
hotel.
Even 6 stars. They say it's a boutique hotel. Yeah. When you're sitting there, you look over on the Dam Square, which is one of the most famous square in Amsterdam.
So
I think
it's
the only
place
open
to
place
be.
in Amsterdam.
Yeah, but it is the right place to be
Yeah.
and to basically.
Yeah, for Holland,
Yeah.
if you want to say high end, this
Yeah.
is really like
So the perfect
a
location for
location.
your launch for
Was
your
there,
art.
and
Yeah.
it was actually luck, because I went there and I was there at the right time, right place, and I got the chance to prove.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I think the chance to show
The chance to show, because he asked, like, I had only 2 artworks, and he said, okay, I want 8 for the opening.
Wow.
And I said, oh, okay, when's the opening? In 3 weeks. And then I said, yeah, of course. And at that same time, I was like, okay, I've got to go home now, because
And
I
create
only
more art.
I have 3 weeks
Yeah.
to do this. And I said yes. So now I had to do it. But it was more like, I just took the chance. I thought, even if it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, and
we'll
it turned
see.
out to be a great opportunity, of course.
It turned out to be great.
Yeah.
And that's what I say, that, you can be very talented. I know a bunch of very talented people who live under a bridge in Paris and in London, anywhere in the world, even in India or in America, everywhere, who are so talented. Like, I couldn't even imagine, the way they paint and draw. I have so much respect for what they do and what they can do. But like anything in the world, talent only is not enough.
Yeah.
There has to be something more. There has to be like a marketing machine. There has to be, and even if you have the talent and the marketing machine, you will have to have people who are willing to give you that opportunity, that little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Without luck, I don't think without luck, nothing is possible, because luck is that one, it's like salt in a dish. You can put any spice, but nothing can replace the salt.
That's beautiful said. Yeah, I think that indeed, and having a network of people around you can really make a difference.
Of course, because when you have the network, there are some people who will say, okay, I don't know you. I like what you do. I like your vibe. I like what you're saying. You're not there yet, but here's a hand. Let's see.
Yeah.
You need those people.
Yeah.
And you cannot find those people. Those people have to, they will not find you either. But with networking, you will meet them, and then you'll get the chance to show them who you are. And then
So
it's up to them.
Getting out there, just making yourself, known, or go to events.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
because what can they say? They don't like it. Well, I think they also said that. I also think they said that to people like Vincent van Gogh or Monet, or who were creating a different style, like Fauvism
for their time.
Their time, all the new kind of arts were like put down, like as if it was trash.
Yeah.
And now, like 100 years later, it's amazing. And still, it doesn't mean that everything that's trashy will become something amazing.
True.
But still, don't be disappointed when you get a no. Because it's possible. You don't have all red sweaters in your closet, do you? You have white, you have blue. Yeah. So if one person says it's not...
Should not give up.
Yeah, it's not good enough, or it's not nice. That's what they think. Maybe
I think that is beautiful advice for people who are listening in and thinking about starting a business or in that period of how do I grow my business.
Of course, when people don't like what you're doing, just accept it and think they're not your match. Maybe your match is someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, that is beautiful advice. I would like to jump to the next subject of how did you So, everyone now is, we're talking about influencers, about Instagram. And now it's the world of NFT, non-fungible tokens.
Yes.
It's basically digital art.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how did you came in, contact with that world, like creating, being a physical artist into the digital space?
I think I'm a nosy person. When I get hold on anything, even if it's a study or a style or whatever I do, it doesn't get boring. But then I will start looking for new things, and that's how I got in touch with someone who was already in the, not in the NFT. He was in the more in the bitcoins and in the crypto world. Yeah. And then of course you were hearing like the crazy stories about like Cyberpunk was sold for millions of dollars, and so it got my attention, and I got to know a few people who would were starting up certain things because they were on the blockchain, because they were into crypto. Now they were starting up things. And then I thought, okay, maybe I should look into it too. But I'm really not a tech girl. I'm not a gamer. I'm really an artist. The only thing is that I thought, for instance, if you work with paint and brush, at a certain point, you grab an airbrush or spray paint because it's a different medium, but it's still a form of art. And this is actually the same with the NFT. Of course, we know the Cyberpunk and the Bored Ape. But as an artist, you can create your own art in an NFT, which is still your signature.
Yeah, it's still unique.
It's still unique. It still has your signature. And you don't have to go with the flow and make things you don't like. It's up to you. If they will be sold, that's another thing. But instead of canvas and paint, you will invest in minting your NFT.
Yeah.
Of course, it's digital. I think it's for the people who buy it, they have to make a switch in their mind that it's still something you can look at and as a form of art, because to be honest, everything is on your mobile phone nowadays.
True.
No one is carrying cards. No one is carrying cash money.
Everything is digital.
Everything is digital. So I think even for generation next, and in 10 years, people will have their wallet, and maybe not in the way I'm like predicting it now, because you cannot predict something that isn't there yet. We just have a vision of what we know now, that it would be like that in 10 years. But I think in 10 years, people would be carrying a digital wallet with their NFTs and just showing others what their collections are. Like when you would go and visit family,
showing pictures, for example.
25 years ago, the same albums would come out of the cupboard, and people would say, "Oh yeah, this what was that?"
True. Yeah, so for the listeners, if you want to check out a platform, it's called OpenSea. There you could see all kinds of collections of NFTs.
Yes.
And I did, of course, some research before our talk, and what I do notice is that it's being collected. So there's also a huge community. So talking about the followers on Instagram, I noticed that on OpenSea, and if you have a collection, you have you could create a whole community of people that like your art, or want to follow you.
People are now trying to do the best. They're trying their best because it's growing. It's like exactly like the Instagram and like anything else. In the start, people are very like holding back, and then at a certain point they see, okay, this is going somewhere. I have to jump on this train.
Yeah.
And then you get a lot of people, and then people want to get noticed. And what are they going to do? because the communities, there were no communities. Like the biggest crypto art which was sold, they didn't have a community. They were like simple, 8-digit things, paintbrush things made, and they were sold for millions. And people are making the most craziest art now, and the prices are very low. But what I do think is that when you build a community, you try to hold on to the people to, put more value. As I said, like making the diamond crush and gems work for me in my art, building a community with a collection is a smart thing to do, because people might not come for your art, but will come for that community feeling, the extra things you get to know or unlock. I'm a little bit skeptic about that, because I believe in people being connected, but also being very different. So building a community based on one thing, for me, it's still a bit like a gray area. Yeah. Because I want to build a community for art lovers, for people who like my art. I want to do something. But for instance, I'm giving away, like with every 100 of my sold NFTs, I'm giving away a real artwork. This is for the big collection, because every big artwork I have already has a NFT with it. So it's the other way around. I have the artwork and there's an NFT for it. I also have, like for the bigger crowd, I have this collection called Mario Madness, which is also on OpenSeas and also on Launch My NFT from Kwebbelkop, the YouTuber. And then with every sold 100 sold NFT, there will come a real artwork. But there's a little bit of a logistical problem there, because what if the buyer is someone in the mountain area of
like a different
India,
part of the world? Like how do you
which absolutely it would be no problem. But what if he doesn't have a place to hang the painting or the physical work? That's a little bit of the struggle, because people are really buying NFTs nowadays just for the NFTs, not particularly for
hang it on the wall or something.
No.
Well, what I do notice that I saw on Twitter some people who are in the NFT world, very famous. There's Umar Kamani, for example. He's the CEO of Pretty Little Thing. He created this digital museum. So you could visit online his digital museum where he displays like all his bought NFT.
Yes, and you have Victoria's Secret now, who's also starting up to join the metaverse. So you see it everywhere now, even Paris Hilton. Everyone, as from, I think, January of this year,
it's been booming. All these famous people. And what I also notice is that the not so famous people would like to be in the community with those famous people. So what happens is that if they see a message on Twitter that someone bought a Bored Ape, or Justin Bieber, for example, everyone's like, hey, but I'm in the same community.
It's a
Justin
Rolex.
Bieber.
It's like a Rolex. It's not about the watch. It's not about.
It's like being part of.
It's being part of that. Someone. It's like. Especially with the famous people, you can see it, that it's a lot like designer clothing. That you have a part who buy it because they want to show that they can afford it. And that's happening in the NFT world now. It's not that much about the art or the real value of the thing. As you said, it's like being part of that whole community, just the way people buy Louis Vuitton, or you have the people who cannot afford like travel bag, but they can afford like a small wallet, and they're still very content. They would love to pay hundreds of euros to get that wallet, because to show off that wallet would mean, look, I can afford it. I'm also part of that big, rich community. That's the way it works. And I think with the NFTs, the same thing is happening right now. And as I said, with the famous people jumping into the NFT, you'll get the same thing which happened on Instagram, that the famous people who already have a following will still have, in the NFT or the crypto world, will still have that following them everywhere they will go. But as you know, it's all part of that marketing, because you will not get a part of like Paris Hilton. She is not creating. She's not the creator. Someone else is doing it for her, and well, hats off to her, because she's doing great. But it's
more a marketing strategy.
It's like a jewelry line.
Exactly.
I designed a jewelry line. No, you did not.
But you're the real artist, so you create.
For me, it's really like an extra leg in the art world.
And what would you predict as the future? Like, where would you see yourself in about 5 years from now?
That's very difficult, because until date, I haven't been able to predict anything. I tried. I'm heading towards 49 years now. And in 1 year, I will be 50. So, every time I look back, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, which I could have had predicted 10 years ago. That, okay, in 10 years, maybe until I was 30, 35, I would have more like dreams, or like, okay, I want to be there, or I want that. And so a lot of goals, and in the end, my life just ended up just being like a pinball machine, I'm the little ball, and
it's
I
like
just
the flipper, and it flips around.
I just go from one to the other, and as I said, you meet people, and the people you meet decide which way you will go, or where you will end. Again, the network.
It's serendipity. We call it serendipity, indeed. That we at Venture Cafe organize network gatherings, and when people would ask, like, what would be the value of coming, it is basically serendipity. It's like meeting people that you might not meet outside in a normal daily world or your daily routine. But it's more of that
and also
magic.
The trust. You can meet a lot of people, but when you meet people at a place, which is like this, like the network cafe, it's a place where people come, and okay, the people who are here, we are all here for that same reason. And of course, there's some people who talk big, but still, it's much better than you being alone and then people approaching you with the craziest ideas. And especially when you want something really bad, you would tend in the beginning to just ignore the red flags, just ignore them. You see them, but you say, oh, this is so great. This opportunity is so big.
Maybe there are lessons to be learned, basically.
Yes.
And then looking back, you're like, okay, this is not the way to go. I'm going, different direction.
There's no easy way. That's for sure. I don't read books anymore. I mean, I read books, but just for fun. But I don't read books about coaching. Maybe I will write one day. No, to be honest, I will. The only book which will not teach you how to be led by someone else, something like that. Because I think coaching is really like so personal. So when someone has a career or does something, and he writes a book about it, like I did it like this, same as me. I'm telling you something. But with me, with my story, there's this personal thing called my life.
True. Yeah.
Which makes my story unique and doesn't make it like a copy-paste model which someone can use
or follow to reach the same success. Or to do it.
Or even be more successful than me. Because if you follow me, you will know what I do, but you will downgrade yourself because maybe you're opportunities are much bigger. Maybe your talent is much bigger. And I think that people should know that there is no easy way. There is no shortcut for anything in life. Also not for a career. And I always say that people who say that things, but that's my opinion. It's my opinion. It's not.
Yeah, I think it is important to just not. There's no like fixed plan that you could
It
copy
is, there
paste.
is not.
But what I do like about your story is that you're a role model. If you like it or not, it's just you already reached a certain level, and then people get inspired by your story and hear your message very clearly about believe in yourself.
Yeah,
It's
I
about
like to be.
serendipity.
Yeah, I would like to be honest. I want it to be real. Also, I also say, even to my children, I said, success. What's success? Success is just a moment. It's like having a big wedding and then have one picture of that wedding hanging on your wall, and that's
Reminding
success.
you of that day.
And yes, reminding you of that day, and that's success because it's just one picture of the whole story. And I think the only way you can decide if someone is successful or not is at the end of the life, because as long as people are living, you cannot say, and I think you should agree, because we know a lot of examples of people being so successful, like on top of the world, being the best of the best in their time, in their league, and then suddenly there comes the downfall. I'm not saying that everybody gets the downfall, but I'm just saying for the people who think they are not successful, don't measure up to people who are successful now, because success is only measured at the end of your life. Because if you're successful now, like, okay, I don't want to call her, it's not about her, but a Marco Borsato, Ali B. But they're not the only one. Epstein.
There's so many stories.
There are Bill Clinton,
like
Bill
for many
Cosby.
people, they're role models, or they're like their
Of course,
favorite
in
artists.
In the time that the Cosby Show was on air, everybody would just stay home to watch the Cosby Show because they were the only Afro-American family with this huge show, and he was really a big success. Still was, but look what happened just before the finish. And what happened to him can happen to anyone. So who is measuring success? At what point are you measuring?
I'm very triggered now just to hear your opinion about this. But a lot of famous people, artists, have a very interesting life, as in their ups and downs, as everyone has. And I'm thinking about, for example, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston,
same thing. George
Kanye
Michael,
West,
all of those.
All of them have the thing of that you like and love their music, their work. But their personal life is another story. And what I hear a lot now these days, and is that if there's like an artist doing something wrong, or of course hurting someone, etc., they stop like putting their songs on the radio, or they're like, oh, do you listen to Michael Jackson? No, you cannot.
You cannot play Michael Jackson anymore.
How do you feel about that? That we like combine and judge people about judging their personal life and choices versus their work as an artist?
It's difficult to have an opinion about how people feel, because that's a feeling. I can have an opinion on people following the crowd and joining them to boycott those artists, because I think that everyone should have their own opinion, no matter what anyone else thinks about it. And I think nowadays, especially now, people like celebrities are falling like leaves from the tree in the autumn, because I think ignorance is bliss. And I think in the past we didn't know that much. We knew a lot from books. We were reading books, we were reading magazines. We would have like the 8 o'clock news on the television, and you would watch one time a day you would get, or
Yeah.
maybe on the radio if you would be able to watch. But
Yeah.
normally you would be at
And now
work.
with internet, it's like constantly.
With internet,
Yeah.
there are so many news channels. There are so many news. Even if you don't want to, you read it once, and then the algorithm thinks, "Oh, you like this? Then we'll show
Yeah.
you everything about it."
I even have those times that I think my phone is listening.
It is.
So when I mention now NFT or Michael
Yeah, it
Jackson, I will
is.
get
It-
some ads on
It
Michael
is.
Jackson
So
or something.
people who are, don't
Yeah.
believe it. It is because sometimes you're just talking to someone about something,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just see it on, and it's proven that it's the phone
Yeah.
is listening. It's collecting your
Yeah.
things you are saying or even writing on your phone.
Yeah. It's kind of scary, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
But I think you
Yeah.
should separate it. If you like
Yeah.
something, don't dig too much into who made it or who did it. Of course, you have, I think there's a difference in someone's personal life, what people are doing, or are people really committing a crime?
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
to be decided by a judge, not
Yeah.
by us. If the judge says, okay, this is not a crime, it's not.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, okay, prima.
Fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
But you're not there to judge. And I think...
Well, as you mentioned that, life is like, how do you call it? The flipper
pinball,
cost,
yeah.
the pinball machine.
Yeah.
It's so, ups and downs. And I think famous people and artists, and I think maybe you can relate that
They are constantly on focuses on them.
Yeah.
They're always
You're getting
on
a lot
spotlight.
of DMs, I can imagine,
Yes.
or a lot of requests, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I do. And I ignore them. Because I also noticed in the beginning I was like feeling sorry for someone is sending me a DM, and then I would send a DM back, and then it wouldn't stop,
Yeah.
because I'm on this side, so I'm not seeing it from like their side. Like, oh, she answered. Oh, now I want to have, I want to be friends. I want to be connected, but it's impossible. Of course, it's.
So you have to also be a little bit careful.
Yes, and yes, you have to be careful because you don't know who you're talking to, and they don't know who they are talking to, because as someone who is following me, they think they know me based on the pictures I'm putting on the internet, but that's not my life. And the same thing with an artist. People fall in love with an artist. Like, for instance, in Michael Jackson's time, how many girls had Michael Jackson on their wall, George Michael, Whitney Houston, and we would think we know them.
Yeah.
So what happens when they
they're like icons, but
they're
when
like
you notice
icons,
that they're just people,
yes,
with, they're good days,
they're
bad
just
days.
They have good days, they have bad days, they have even dark sides maybe. Yes, they're just human. And I think that's the bad thing about Instagram, because we're creating a kind of world on Instagram also where people think that there's a kind of perfectionism which they lack, and then they try to reach that perfectionism, whereas they don't see when those same people at the end of the day just grab their bag of Lay's chips and sit on the bed, and
true.
They don't see that. So
okay. Thank you, Fezila, for being a guest in our podcast, Venture Voices. And if people want to follow you, or or want to go to OpenSea to look at your collection, where do we have to go?
Well, if you go to my Instagram account, that's by_Fez.
Yes.
You will find a link tree in my bio, and all my OpenSea accounts, Launch My NFT, my website, everything is right there. But if you Google by Fez or Fezila William, you will find me also. So I would love to see you on one of my socials or on my NFTs, OpenSea, anywhere.
Great.
And,
thank you so much for
thank
being
you,
here.
Anoesjka.